Hey y'all, it's Catherine, just jumping on really quick to say a big, huge, gigantic, massive thank you so much to our very first Patreon subscriber, Alexis. You are the best. You are the bee's knees. You are the cat's pajamas. You are everything else. We love you so, so, so much. Thank you for supporting us. I hope you're enjoying the content. And for everyone else, why haven't you signed up yet? Go over to our Patreon right now and sign up. Love ya. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
We're back again. I'm trying a new intro.
That's
Did you like
wild.
it?
I like it. For a minute, I was
We're
like, what's happening? What are we doing?
I know, that just popped in my brain.
We're
A
here.
little too many Dutch brothers, but
Yeah.
that's all right. I'm Catherine,
I'm Meg.
and this is
The
Vibes Are Off.
See, this is what happens when you try to change it up. You forget what you're doing.
Did you like it?
I did, though.
Okay,
The
good.
enthusiasm was there for sure.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, I tell you what, buckle in for this one
I'm excited.
because there's going to be at least 2 parts, possibly 3.
Okay.
Probably 3. Most likely 3.
Yeah. Let's set the expectation now.
Definitely 3. That escalated so fast. Like, maybe. Yes.
Okay.
3.
So this will be our first 3-parter.
This will be our first 3-parter. And honestly, I could do 4. I'm not gonna.
Let's
I
not
hope.
do that to
Please
anybody.
not do that.
Yeah.
But the more I dig in this case, the more I find. And it's wild. Like, this first part is not even like the main story that I found.
It's just like setting the scene.
No.
Okay. I'm
Maybe,
going to let you do it.
So
You're
I
like, I can't
found
even-
this from Ghost Adventures. Shout out Zach Bagans.
My name is Zaz Bacon.
Wait.
We love him.
You found... Okay.
I did.
Okay.
Because he did an investigation with the OG team. Like
Oh.
Aaron and, oh no, what's his name? The original guy that left.
Yeah.
So it was the original 3. It was like back in the day when they were doing their own thing. But he investigated the property that this happened on.
Ah.
And I was like, what is that?
Yeah, you're like, let me go see what happened there. And then you're like, oh my gosh.
The more that I dug, this is often referred to as the most prolific serial killer you've never heard about.
Okay.
So give a little sprinkle of inside information there.
What is this going to be? Yeah.
Okay. But obviously, we want to focus on our survivor.
Yes.
And our survivor is Mark Goodyear.
Okay.
Have you heard of Mark Goodyear?
I mean, Goodyear sounds familiar,
But that's
but
also
it's
tires.
Yeah. So maybe, I don't know.
Yay, tires. I just got 2 of my tires replaced. That was expensive.
That's rough.
Adulting is fun.
Yeah.
So I tell my kids, like, don't grow up. You don't
Right.
want this.
You don't be in a rush. Just
You don't want to have to go straight to Discount Tire after all day work.
Yeah.
And go pay hundreds of dollars for tires.
Yeah. It's not
fun.
It's not that fun.
No.
Yeah.
But I do want to do a big trigger warning for sexual assault, murder, and homophobia.
Okay.
So getting that right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Okay. I will say that I did have some good positive responses on my last episode where I started out in a story.
Oh,
So I
yes.
have now, that is my thing that I'm trying.
Okay.
So I'm going to put you right into a story and we will hold all questions until we get to the end of the story.
That's going to be difficult
I
for
can-
me.
Put everybody in.
Okay. You hear that, people? Don't ask any questions until she's done with the story.
Don't get uppity. Thank you. But before we jump in, do you have anything that you want to talk about?
No, I'm just excited.
Okay.
Let's get into it.
Let's strap in.
Okay.
This is going to be a long journey, but we're all here together.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Mark pulled the brim of his hat down lower, trying to hide as much of his face as possible as he entered the door of our place. On the outside, it looked like any other sports bar in Indianapolis, but those familiar with the area knew about the secret hidden in plain sight. After all, it was the mid-1980s, and being gay was still something that was to be hidden if he wanted to keep his job and his reputation. As if to remind him of that, he had to step over the lingering debris from the latest homophobic protest the city had hosted. But once he was inside, he breathed a sigh of relief. This was his safe place. His place where he and his friends could come to be themselves without fear or danger. He sat down and ordered his favorite cocktail, a blue Hawaiian, and did a quick sweep of the area. It was still early, so the dance floor wasn't packed yet, even though the DJ was spinning some epic tunes. Epic. His eyes flitted around the space, and the bass of the music filled his soul. Yes, this was his safe space. His place. As his eyes wandered, a flash of strobe light drew his attention to the back wall where a sea of posters had been placed. Intrigued, he grabbed his drink and wandered over to get a better look. Damn, he said as he got closer. Before him was a sea of missing posters. It was one after another, stapled to the corkboard. It looked like they had long ago run out of space, and now they were haphazardly posted over each other. Lifting his hand, he ran a fingertip over the faces of the missing. He knew them. He knew almost all of these men. How many more of us have to keep disappearing before the police finally take notice? A man's voice came from behind him, breaking him out of the trance of the wall of faces he had put him in. I didn't realize there were so many, Mark replied to the man without turning away from the board. Nobody does, the man replied. Mark took another minute to look at the board before turning around to engage with the man behind him, but when he did, the man was gone. The bar was starting to fill up, a sign that he had been at the wall for longer than anticipated, so he turned away from the faces of the missing and went to find his friends. The night passed in a whirlwind of dancing and drinks. What are you doing after this? A man named Brian asked him. Brian was what could best be described as a French friend of the group. He was married and had a family, but so many of them did. They were hiding their true self for a number of reasons, and nobody judged them for that. But Brian was another level of shy. He mostly kept to himself and sat on the outside of the bar. But looks like tonight he finally worked up the courage to talk to him. No plans yet. What about you? Mark replied. Well, he began as he looked around him nervously, his eyes darting to every corner of the bar. My wife and kids are out of town for the summer, and I have the house all to myself. One side of his mouth picked up in a small smile. Is that so? Mark answered him. And what would we be doing at your house? He flirted. Brian was attractive, very well put together and successful, so Mark was more than a little interested. I have an indoor pool, Brian smiled as he wrapped his lips around his straw and made an exaggerated show of sucking his drink. And a fully stocked bar, he added. Let's do it, Mark replied, eager to continue the party. Perfect. I'll give you a ride. Brian winked at him as he grabbed his hand and led him to the parking lot in the back of the strip center of the bar. He opened Mark's door and made sure he got in safely, even buckling his seatbelt and softly shutting the door before he walked over to the driver's side. We're going to have so much fun, Brian smiled at him and grabbed his hand to hold over the center console. He rubbed Mark's hand in soothing circles and smiled at him as they drove. They drove for about 15 minutes before appearing before a locked gate. A partially obscured sign greeted them. Welcome to Fox, was all he could make out. His attention quickly shifted to Brian, who was unlocking the gate and smiling at him as he walked back to the car. Welcome home, he said as they drove through the gates. Holy shit, is this all yours? Mark asked Brian as he looked around the sprawling estate. Sure is, Brian smiled back at him. 18 acres, and the home is just up there over this hill. Soon, a massive English Tudor-style mansion came into view. You weren't kidding. This is amazing, Mark said as they parked and walked towards the house. Wait till you see the inside, Brian said as he grabbed his hand and led him through a set of doors on the side of the home. As soon as they walked in, there was a massive swimming pool that took up most of the space, but off to the left there was a bar area complete with seating for about 10 people. Come, let me show you around. Brian dragged behind him, his excitement palpable in the air, and Mark laughed as he followed. After a quick tour, Brian encouraged him to hop in the pool. Not one to waste a good opportunity, he did. The water was perfectly warm and clear, A perk of having it indoors, he thought. Man, this is how the other half lived. Brian appeared at the edge of the water, kneeling down with a drink in hand. Here you go, handsome, he winked as he handed him the cold drink. Mark took a sip and winced. Gross. This man might be rich and cute, but he was a horrible bartender.
No.
Come in, the water's amazing, Mark yelled over to Brian. And without missing a beat, Brian swan dived into the water. He sliced through the water like it was second nature to him. He flew and appeared before Mark like an avenging angel, albeit a wet one. They had more conversation, and quickly the night turned sexual. One thing led to another, and the pair moved to the side of the pool. Brian had a comfy couch and cushions that they used thoroughly. And after they were both spent from a round of intense pleasure, Brian brought up a conversation around kinks.
Oh, okay. Sure.
At first, it was nothing groundbreaking, just the usual light bondage and spanking. But most, you're giggling, just the casual usual. Both men seemed to like the same things, and they were open to exploring. Would you choke me? Brian asked him. I'll try anything once, Mark laughed. Brian got up to get him another drink, ever the gracious host, but when he came back, he had something in his other hand. Would you want to try it now? Brian asked as he opened up his palm to reveal a black leather belt. I want you to take this belt, loop it around my neck, and pull as tight as you can until I pass out. Brian's voice lost the playful tone from the previous conversation. There was a desperate pleading in his eyes. It's not really my thing, Mark said, but the sadness in Brian's eyes made him reconsider. But I'll try, he said as he gripped the leather.
You said I can't say anything or ask any questions. This is killing me. Okay, continue.
What do I need to do? Wrap it around here, Brian pointed to the center of his throat. Mark did as he was instructed and looped the belt through the buckle and pulled it tight. Harder, Brian commanded as he began to pleasure himself. She's losing it. Mark pulled harder on the end of the belt and held tight until Brian finished and his body went limp.
No.
He's okay.
They just met. Sorry, continue.
Hey, it's consensual.
I know. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, are you okay? Mark panicked as Brian's body slipped to the concrete. He rubbed his arms and lifted him into his lap. That was amazing, okay, Brian said in a rasp. Yep, it was confirmed. Mark was absolutely not into autoerotic asphyxiation.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah,
Mark didn't like it. But Mark cradled Brian's head in his lap, his fingers running through his short hair as he recovered. After a few minutes, Brian was up and headed to the bar again. Here you go, he smiled as he put another drink in his hand. But his smile was wrong somehow. It was too large, and his eyes had shifted. They appeared larger and darker somehow. The vibes were definitely off. Drink up, Brian encouraged. I'm good, Mark replied, and the look on Brian's face sobered him up real quick. Mark backed away from the man and took another look around. This time, he took his time to really take in the details of the space, and when he did, he knew he had to find a way out of there. He just now noticed that there were mannequins everywhere, like store display, fake human mannequins.
You just know. Okay. Mm-hmm.
They were behind the bar, and they were sitting at the tables. Like, there were mannequins all around the pool in various poses. How the hell had he missed that? When he looked down at his drink, he saw a white, powdery substance floating at the top. I'll be right back. I have to use the bathroom, he told Brian as he waded through the sea of fake people. Mark immediately poured the drink down the sink and rinsed the glass. He replaced it with water, hoping Brian wouldn't notice. He had to get out of the house, but Brian had driven him, and they were so far away from a main road, he would never make it. But he had to think quick on his feet, and he was going to get out of this house. When he came back out of the pool, Brian's mood had shifted. Gone was the happy, friendly man, and in his place was a broody, angry monster. Your turn, Brian demanded as he held the belt in his hand.
No.
No, Mark declared with just as much anger. I'm not into that shit. Keep it away from me. Brian didn't say anything else. He stomped out of the room, leaving Mark alone. Not having another option, Mark curled up on the couch, covered himself with a towel, and waited for the sun to rise. He didn't mean to fall asleep, but when a noise from right behind him woke him up, his hands went directly to protect his throat. But he was too late. Brian had wrapped a pool hose around his neck and was squeezing as hard as he could. Mark was punching and flailing and doing whatever he could to get Brian off of him. Thankfully, he made contact with his head, and his grip loosened just enough so that he was able to get the hose from around his neck and create distance between the men. Come on, Mark, I know you want it. Brian lunged for him again, but Mark was able to fight him off. Brian stopped suddenly, tilted his head to the side, and asked, Did you not drink last night? Fuck no, I didn't. I know you put something in it. Mark's chest was heaving, and he was ready to fight. But Brian's body relaxed, and he said, Well, in that case, let me take you home. The fuck is going on? Mark questioned him. Don't worry about it, Brian replied, and ordered him to get in the car. Not seeing any other option, Mark followed him. True to his word, Brian drove him back to the bar and dropped him off. And to tell you Mark Goodyear's story, we have to start at the beginning.
What is happening?
Did you like it? Are you in the scene?
I am.
Okay.
And I'm like
thoughts?
shooketh.
Okay, tell me what you're feeling.
Okay. I mean, I don't even know where to start. Like I want to know what the backstory is.
Oh yeah.
Obviously to all this. But I'm like, if he's like, he sounds like he's done this before. Mm-hmm. He's a big weirdo. Mm-hmm. So why would he just be like, oh, I'll take you back?
Right.
Why?
Yeah. Well, he couldn't kill him because obviously he didn't drink the spiked drugs.
Right. So he's not like incapacitated. Mm-hmm. But
he's like, okay.
But like, you don't have like a plan B?
No. That's it. We tried. It didn't work.
Okay, let's go back to the beginning because I need to understand.
Okay. So I said, buckle in, folks.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, this story has more twists and turns than an E5 tornado.
Yeah.
And that's a lot.
Just so you know,
that's a lot. Yeah. Because when you think that you have it figured out, surprise, you have no idea what is happening.
Yeah. No, I'm there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I have no idea what's happening.
All right. Well, the beginning starts with a series of murders along the I-70 highway in the Midwest section of America between 1980 and 1991.
I gotta tell you, the Midwest, they really had
it's a dangerous place to be.
Like California and then the Midwest.
Yeah.
That's where you hear about
murders.
A lot of serial killers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dang.
Murders by strangulation, to be exact. Mm-hmm. At least a dozen boys and men were picked up, killed, and dumped near the highway. It began when Michael Petrie, just 15 years old, was discovered naked in rural Hamilton County, Indiana, on June 16, 1980. Sadly, despite his young age, he was a prostitute who spent most of his time in and around Indianapolis gay bars. He was reported missing on June 7th, but 3 days later, he was observed in different parts of the city, riding along in a stranger's car. His cause of death was established as strangulation, and of note, there were no traces of drugs or alcohol found in his blood.
Interesting.
But he's very young.
Okay.
So, then, in July 1982, 23-year-old Maurice Taylor's partially nude body was found in Weasel Creek in rural Hamilton County outside of Atlanta. While his cause of death couldn't be definitively established, the coroner suspected that he had been strangled. Maurice had a tough childhood and, at the time of his disappearance, lived in the boiler room of an apartment complex in Indianapolis. Due to his financial difficulties, he offered sexual services around the gay bars, and terribly, he remained unidentified for 8 months since his mother was detained in a mental hospital and was unable to file a missing persons report.
Oh, that's sad.
What a sad
And like just
thing.
nobody else was
There's
missing
nobody
him.
else. Nope.
Oof.
The next body that turned up was the catalyst for an 8-person task force to be formed by the Indianapolis police in 1982. Previously, it was of the belief, trigger warning, we are going to get into sensitive topics of homophobia here. But it was the belief of many law enforcement officials and the local population at large that, this is a quote, unfortunately, if you're gay, you probably got what you deserved.
Yeah.
This is a police officer saying that. There's just nobody cared. The police didn't care, the prosecutors didn't care, the judges didn't care, the public as a whole didn't care.
Yeah.
They're like, you're engaging in a high
Risk activity.
You get what you deserve. And the fact that a lot of these boys were prostitutes was like a double whammy.
Yeah.
They were like, we really don't care about you.
Ugh.
It was just so sad. So it took 3 bodies for them to even form a task force. But they did. They had 8 people on this. Then 14-year-old Delvoyd Lee Baker was found partially nude near a river in Hamilton County. Then the locals demanded justice. They were like,
yeah, this is getting out of
the
hand.
14-year-old, no,
Yeah.
it's not good. So witnesses stated that the 8th grader was last seen the evening of October 2nd, 1982 in downtown Indianapolis, getting into a blue van driven by a young white man with a bushy mustache. Baker's parents told police that he had been riding his bike to the city center on the evening of his disappearance. Like, just a kid.
Tragic, yeah.
Just trying to go downtown, hang out with his friends. So he had actually called home at 10:30 to inform them that he was going to be late because he wanted to go to the movie theater. Like, why are movies like a catalyst in our stories? Like, they just want to see a movie.
Right. Just trying to go see a movie.
Like, that's it. This actually concerned Baker's parents because they were like, he doesn't have any money on him.
Right.
Like, how is he going to pay this movie?
Who's he going to the movie with?
Right. But he didn't give any details, and they kind of just were like,
okay. I mean, it's
have
the
fun.
80s.
Right. And you're 14, pretty much grown at that point, right? Just go out. But it was later established that Baker and his 16-year-old friend had been cruising the Indianapolis gay bars for the last 3 months. And according to his friend, he and Baker prostituted themselves for $20 to $25 per night.
Ugh. Can you imagine at 14?
No. Just thinking that you have to sell yourself to get money? No, I can't. I did put a little note here because there were some differences in comparison with the other victims. Baker was the youngest, and he was the only black victim. So Baker's homicide was considered to be unrelated by some officials, but the consensus was that he was a victim of this killer.
Yeah. I mean, in the matter,
Right.
the manner of
The strangulation.
yeah, was the same.
So as the task force worked away, no new bodies were found for months. You know, they were starting to get some heat on them, so they took a little bit of a break.
Well, and I'm sure that they thought, oh, well, maybe it was just like a traveler.
Right.
Somebody like
Going-
came in, did this, and continued
left.
on.
Yep. That was until 22-year-old Michael Andrew Riley disappeared on May 28th, 1983, after visiting a nightclub in Indianapolis. He was last seen leaving with an unfamiliar man, and then Riley's nude body was later found in a ditch in Hancock County, southeast of Greenfield, on June 5th. The autopsy determined that he had been strangled, with the perpetrator likely using a towel or similar fabric.
Oof.
Yeah, just really anything he could find at this point. So, but this prompted police to add 2 more officers to the task force. Wow, now we got 10. I think they thought they were doing something there. Mm-hmm. And then subsequently, 4 more men were added as potential victims of the I-70 Strangler. The FBI was asked to join the task force and create a profile on the victims and the perpetrators, or perpetrator, to try and stop this monster.
Yeah.
Reminder here, this is the early 1980s, and criminal profiling was still in its infancy. Well, the FBI determined that they thought there were 2 serial killers on the loose with the same MO.
What would make you think that?
I didn't go to Quantico, but this
Okay.
one feels a little off.
Yeah.
So the FBI weren't coming in as this, saving grace of like, we're going to find a killer no matter what. They were still like, gay men kind of get what they get if they're
Yeah.
engaging in dangerous activities.
Yeah. I'm sure for them, it was like, this is an opportunity to help us like build out like profiling,
Right.
but they're not in it for the justice for these victims. They're in it.
Yeah. I mean, it was clear because they
Yeah.
were like, yeah, there's 2. So I'll tell you what the FBI thought.
Okay. And so how many victims are we up to at this point?
I think we're like 4 or 5.
Okay.
Yeah. So they said that the first killer was a white man between the ages of 20 and 30, worked in a job requiring low-skilled labor, was a fan of military paraphernalia, and led a healthy lifestyle. In his everyday life, he expressed homophobic views, but was secretly a latent homosexual who committed the murders out of shame and self-hatred. Sounds about right?
I could see that.
Yeah.
It's so funny, like some of the stuff that they come up with as like personality traits or whatever. I'm like, it feels so random.
Right, like how do you know he worked out and ate right?
Right. And like
how
also,
do you know that?
I mean, I guess because you're like, oh, you had the strength to like
Oh,
strangle these
maybe.
people. But I'm like, oh, you must work somewhere that's like a.
Low-skilled labor.
Right.
Like, really?
So you're like, well, but, I mean, just say what you mean.
Right.
He's
It's
strong
dumb.
and stupid
Yeah.
and ashamed of being homosexual.
Yeah, that's yep. Between 20 and 30.
Yeah. Like, why are we trying to sound so fancy?
Right. And yeah, it's always very interesting to me.
Yeah.
Okay. The other, according to investigators, was a white man. Again, not great. About 45 years of age.
A
Very
little older.
specific on that one.
Yeah.
Likely overweight. Rude.
Okay.
Had a high-paying job and was well respected in his community. They also concluded that the killer may be married, but has no intimate relationship with his wife, likely because of his attraction to adolescent boys and young men. He feels shame and guilt in that. In addition to possibly destroying his career and reputation, it would result in a deep hatred and subsequent murders.
They sound like the same person.
Yeah,
Almost.
just like one's a little bit older
And
fat.
fatter and more well off.
Right.
But
I think it's a mix of
I think
one guy.
they couldn't really
Mix.
Yeah. I think they kind of had 2 ideas of maybe who this was. But instead of being like, we think we have 2 killers, like we have a killer who could fit maybe one of these profiles. Like, why are we like, there's 2 of them out there?
Yeah.
Because that doesn't make any sense.
It does not make any sense. Wild stuff, but the killings continued. James Robbins, 21, went missing on October 15th, 1987, at around 10 p.m. shortly after leaving his mother's home and walking to the southern part of the city. 2 days later, his naked body with strangulation marks was found in a ditch in rural Shelby County near I-70 south of Gwinnettville. While investigating his murder, police located 2 witnesses who gave conflicting information. One claimed that they had seen a red Jeep Wrangler Renegade near the crime scene, while the other said the car was a Chevrolet Blazer. So they were like, we got no leads.
Yeah.
Bye. And that was it.
I
They
mean,
were literally
oh,
like,
why
we
don't-
can't tell what the truth is.
why
so
don't you go
bye."
after both?
Right. Nope. That was it.
Okay.
Next was 26-year-old Jean Paul Talbot, and he was found in May 1989. Like the previous victims, he was found strangled to death, and his body had been dumped near a stream in Defiance County, Ohio. There's not a lot of information about him.
And that's like 2 years in between those.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this has been going on for a while now.
Started in 1980.
Yeah.
We're in 1987, 1989.
89.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're
And
still like no
They were
closer
like, oh
to.
man, not even a single clue.
Yeah.
The FBI was brought in 83.
Right. And they're still. But I'm sure too, they're like,
Nothing.
oh, they don't really care that much about
Right.
the victims. And yes, there's multiple, but it doesn't sound like it's like every month that they're finding
Right.
somebody. Like it was at the beginning where they're like pretty quickly at one after
Mm-hmm.
another. So like the
But it slowed down.
right. So like because the people were like, we need to do something about this.
Right.
Dead bodies keep popping up. But now that it's slowed down and it's like every once in a
Yes.
while.
And like also to remember, this was the height of the AIDS epidemic.
Yeah.
Like in the consensus of the awful people that lived during that time was, well, they're going to die anyway.
Right.
So like, why do we care about them? Mm-hmm. Which is totally wrong. It's disgusting, awful, terrible thing. But that's what the police were thinking.
Yeah.
They did not care about these men. And it was a tragic injustice.
Yeah. They're not like in a hurry to stop this.
No. I don't even think they cared. They would have let this go on forever.
Yeah.
Stephen L. Elliott, who was also 26, was found in only his underwear in August 1989 in rural Preble County, Ohio, near I-70. He had been strangled, presumably with a rope, and Elliott's father had told police that his son had come out as gay in 1979 and then left the family household and became involved in prostitution and developed an alcohol addiction. So basically his dad was like, he got what he deserved. His own dad
Oh my gosh.
was like, yeah, he's
Wow.
gay. He left the house. He became a prostitute. He was an alcoholic. What did we think was going to happen here? So, very
Awful.
sad. Then 32-year-old Clay Russell Boatman, a licensed practical nurse, disappeared in August 1990 after leaving his Richmond apartment to visit Our Place, a local gay bar. From the beginning of the story.
There's the connection.
So his body showed signs of strangulation and was found in a ditch by a group of children near Eaton, Ohio. But interesting with him, they interviewed his family, and his family denied that he was gay or visited gay bars. But,
Yeah. They're trying to protect their own
Right.
image.
Exactly. 19-year-old Thomas Clevenger Jr. vanished without a trace at the end of August 1990, and his partially nude body was found at an abandoned railroad track near Greenville, Ohio. Thomas grew up in a poor neighborhood of Indianapolis, and due to his rough upbringing, he started committing crimes and drinking at an early age. At age 14, he attacked and then stabbed his deputy headmaster, and during his school years, he was diagnosed with an intellectual disability, because of which he had problems reading and writing. Shortly before his death, he allegedly engaged in prostitution near gay bars to earn money, a fact denied by his mother and sister. But it sounds like he had a really tough life.
Yeah.
This poor guy.
I mean, stabbing people is not cool.
Yeah, at 14, that's a rough one.
Well, and I wonder, like, I don't know. You kind of have the stereotype sometimes of, like, especially, like, all boy
Right.
schools. Like, did that headmaster, whatever, like, do something to him?
Yeah. And then he just was protecting
Had enough?
himself for revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know. I'm not saying that happened.
No, we don't know. That was
We don't know.
allegedly.
Allegedly.
In my opinion.
In my opinion. Asterisk for entertainment purposes
Yes.
only.
Yeah.
Not accusing anybody of anything.
So 42-year-old Otto Gary Becker would be what they discovered to be the final victim widely attributed to the I-70 serial killer. His body was found in a ditch next to a gravel road in rural Henry County, Indiana on October 7th, 1991.
Okay.
So we are 11 years deep
It sounds like
into
it was
this
like
murder spree.
it's like a lot at the a good amount in the beginning. He kind of like sprinkled in there and then picked up again.
Yeah.
At the end here, because that's like a lot that happened between like 89 and 91.
Yeah. I need you to keep this timeline in your brain.
Okay.
It's going to make sense
I'm
later.
so good at that.
Was that sarcastic?
It was. No, I can do it.
Okay. Because it's almost like whoever was doing these killings had life events happening
Oh.
and didn't have time to do all the murdering.
Ah, yes.
And then possibly did something else. We'll get to it.
Okay.
Okay.
I need like a little whiteboard that I can keep notes on.
Keep track. All right. You said 1991.
And how many?
Or we're 12? Got it. Okay.
Especially if this is going to be a 3-parter.
Everyone,
Write
pen
some
and paper.
notes.
Pen and paper. While investigating Otto's murder, Police found several witnesses who claimed to have seen Becker in a car with 2 other men earlier that day, driving north on I-70 near Indianapolis. According to them, one of the men was holding Becker down while the other was driving. Remember that. We have eyewitnesses of 2 men in 1991 holding this man down.
Okay. But did anybody like call the police when it was happening?
No.
I was like, oh, you found a body? I think I saw that.
Oh, dang. Yeah.
I think I saw something
That's
weird.
crazy.
Come
The
on,
witnesses
people.
were taken to the police station and shown photographs of various criminals convicted of kidnapping and murder charges in the state, but none of them matched the alleged abductors. Over the years, police would have several theories about the killer, and I'll tell you about it now.
I was like, when is this going to happen? Perfect.
Yes.
Right now.
So one of the first suspects, which, a caveat here, there were so many bad people in this area. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
They just like,
They had so many to choose from.
You're a bad one. Come. We want to, okay, you over, you're a rapist too. Come on. Let's get
Yeah.
over here. Terrible. It was 47-year-old Duncan Patterson, a Florida native. In the fall of 1982, he was arrested in Indianapolis on charges of statutory rape against young boys, with an S, and shortly after his arrest, a friend of Delvoyd Baker, our 14-year-old victim, claimed that he had gotten into Patterson's van.
Oh, okay.
He saw him get into this man's van.
Okay.
Patterson later admitted that that was true, and he had paid Baker $20 for oral sex, which the 2 of them had in a hotel room. He denied killing the boy, however, claiming that he had taken Baker to the Indianapolis Central Library, where he let him go and saw him enter another van.
Okay.
Patterson's testimony was corroborated.
Corroborated.
Is that corroborated?
Sorry.
Corroborated?
Call you out there.
I'm doing so good. Don't make fun of me.
There's some R's in there, I'm sure.
Corroborated by a witness. Read between the lines.
You're beautiful.
Thank you. Hold on, where am I? Oh, who had seen Baker leave that guy's van, go up the library steps, talk to another man he apparently knew before the 2 got into the older man's car.
Okay.
So he was working this night.
Yeah.
So they were like, yeah, I let him go. He got into another van.
But you should still be arrested because he's 14.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. To assess his credibility, Patterson was asked to undergo a polygraph test, to which he agreed and successfully passed, which means nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
Why are we still doing this? Oh, the red flag. I thought for a second, because she reached down to get the red flag, I thought she was doing like a
wipe my butt.
Yeah. Like that. It's shit. That's what that means.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. And I just happened to
Which
see
I
the
was
red
like,
flag.
that was saucy.
Just saucy.
But yeah, red flag.
Yeah, he passed, but that means nothing.
Nothing.
But he was convicted on charges of child molestation. He was officially excluded as a murder suspect.
Okay.
Only one other man was briefly questioned and released shortly after. That was it. They were like, that's all. We've tried everything we can do.
We found the 2 pervs that we knew of who liked little boys.
Well, the gay
nothing.
men.
Yeah.
That they found. That was it. They were like, oh, that's it.
guess-
We're done.
I guess
we've
that's
done
it.
all we can do. But the FBI believed that another man was responsible for this. And I'm only going to give you a tease or a little taste, because this is a serial killer. And I went down the hole in this one. This will probably be a bonus episode, because I don't think he has any surviving victims. But he killed a lot of people in the same area.
So they thought maybe it was that guy.
Well, they were like, oh, God, we're tired. Yeah,
It was probably this
Here
guy.
we go.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you why, kind of. So some law enforcement believe that Larry Eller made a good suspect. But one can't be sure if it was because they had actual evidence or because he himself was a prolific serial killer who happened to be gay. Mm-hmm. More to come on that, because his story led me down a rabbit hole, and I want to share it with y'all.
Perfect. But he is not our guy here.
We don't believe so. No.
Okay. But some might.
Well, the FBI agents that are like, we solved it with
Yeah.
our two
Let's
two
just
serial
wash our
killers.
hands.
But it's this one guy who was in prison most of the time. But it was
fits.
definitely him.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Our job is done here.
Nothing to see here.
Back to Quantico. Bye.
Back to Quantico. Okay. All right. But the general consensus of the real killer is Herbert Baumeister.
Herbert. That
Herbert
sounds familiar,
Baumeister.
but
He is the most prolific serial killer you've never heard of.
okay.
Though there was none, zero, zilch, nada, none evidence linking anyone to the murder of at least 12 boys and men. And I think I could say with certain reasonability, reasonable certainty,
There you go.
okay, that law enforcement in general didn't take any of these cases seriously. In my own personal opinion, I believe that these murders were not given the respect and dignity that they deserved. Unfortunately, there was, and still is, a stigma on gay men, and nobody was willing to work hard to get them justice. This is sadly a theme that will play out in my next episode as we learn how Mark Goodyear survived a serial killer.
Okay. So, did the police mark these murders as solved?
No, they're unsolved.
So they're still sitting
They're
unsolved.
still unsolved.
Okay.
Yep.
Like to this day.
To this day.
Okay.
Yep. Not a single one.
But the murders of this pattern, they stopped in 92 maybe. Well, okay.
They didn't stop.
Okay.
They moved.
Gotcha. Okay. But to the police officers here, they thought oh, maybe it was that serial killer, that other serial killer.
Yeah.
Because he's locked up now.
Right.
And no
But they
more
didn't
murders.
have any evidence, so they can't charge anybody
him.
with anything.
But the FBI was like, it's probably him.
right.
And the police officers were like, cool. Then we'll put these up on the shelf and we won't
ya.
worry about them.
Yes. Yeah.
That's wild.
There's not any evidence for any of these murdered men. Nothing. They
That's
have nothing.
wild.
Because they didn't care about them.
Well, and it sounds like a lot of these men didn't have anybody in their lives that cared about them either. So
Right.
who's there to fight for justice?
Which makes them the perfect target, unfortunately.
I mean, we see it so often. Prostitutes.
Yep.
It's men and women.
Yeah.
And people, gay, lesbian, people of color, they're all targets.
And
It's
I
so
mean,
sad.
unfortunately, it worked.
Yeah.
Because that's it. I mean, we're 30 years out from this
And still.
and nothing. 35 years out.
Wow.
And nobody has any interest in picking this back up. It was
That's
just like,
crazy.
yeah, there was a serial killer.
It's just one of those
Crazy, wasn't it?
that's wild.
And then I'll just go to sleep and lay my head down on a pillow and feel fine about it.
Wow. I still have so many questions, but I don't want to get ahead of where the story is going.
This is just the prequel to the story I told you today.
Right. Yeah, we haven't even
This
gotten
is-
to Mark.
We haven't.
So wait,
And we already have over a dozen victims.
and I know we're going to get to it, but Mark should be able to tell you exactly who did this to him.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He knows them.
Okay.
We'll get into it. I'm going to tell you right now, you have no idea what's coming.
Okay.
You think you might have an idea of Herbert? Herb. He's a seasoning.
Okay.
But you don't. You have no clue.
Okay. But he's never charged.
With these, no.
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay.
Nobody is.
Okay. I don't
And that is
like
a theme that will continue.
I don't like that we're
It's a theme.
yeah. Hang on that.
Yeah. We'll see you soon.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
We'll see if we can get these released a little bit quicker. Because it is
Not
going to be a
making
lot
people
of parts.
wait.
Yeah. Do you want 2 episodes a week?
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
That's great. Don't be crazy. Okay.
Let us know.
We have families.
We have families.
and jobs and stuff.
Maybe we'll be able to do it. We'll see.
Maybe like when we have 2-part or 3-parters, just so
Yeah.
you're not like, oh my God, I gotta wait
Wait a
a
week.
week. Yeah.
You're going to forget what happened.
Yeah. Or you're like me and you're like, well, I'm just going to look it up and then I spoil it. And I'm like,
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. You're going to
yourself.
be, this is a story.
yeah, I'm not going to do it.
No.
So,
Sit back and listen.
yeah.
It'll be good.
I'm locked in. I'm ready.
Girl, you have no idea.
The vibe's way off. Way off. Oh my goodness. Okay.
I mean, but they're always on here with us.
Yeah. And you're just going to leave me here in purgatory.
Good night.
I love that for me. All right. Love
Bye,
y'all.
everyone.
We'll
Love
see
ya.
you next time.
Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or YouTube.
You can also find us on Instagram at The Vibes Were Off, TikTok at The Vibes Were Off Podcast, or good old-fashioned email at thevibeswereoff@gmail.com.